Good morning. Welcome to Lerwick, Scotland. Today we disembarked from the cruise ship by taking a tender. Once our shore excursion was called from the theater, we went down to the tender station. We had to go down some stairs and then climb onto a lifeboat. That's one of Celebrity's lifeboats. And then we were ferried across the short harbor area and then onto land.
Are you cold?
Once we were on land, then we got onto our bus. I'm sorry about my voice. I'm not feeling that well. I thought about not coming this morning, but I thought I could do it. I thought I'd be okay. I am thinking I should have probably stayed on the cruise ship, but you know, I will probably never be back here to this part of the world again, so I wanted to do everything I could to see it. Once we were on the bus, we traveled around Lerwick. It's really a beautiful, gorgeous city. Then we went out to the countryside. We saw various animals. We saw sheep. We saw Shetland ponies. Oh, it was so beautiful. And the rock formations in the area is just gorgeous. On our way to our first stop, I was not feeling very well. I was feeling very nauseous. I've been feeling very nauseous all morning. And unfortunately, my brain and my stomach decided they were gonna throw up. I could feel this coming, so I had a plastic Ziploc bag. Unfortunately, there was a huge hole in it, so only a tiny bit of my vomit got into the bag. The rest of it got onto my pants, onto the seat, onto my jacket. Oh, that's so upsetting, because this is my only jacket and my only pair of pants, so it's really heartbreaking. But, you know, I have some dish soap with us, so I'll try to rinse it out tonight. What else? Okay, we are at our first stop. It's at a hotel that's overlooking some beautiful vistas. I'm not really sure too much about it because I decided to stay on the bus. I'm trying to just rest and recover and hope and pray I start feeling better very soon. So that's a bit of an update. Bye for now.
Yeah, come on, up here. 4,500 years ago. This building's down here to my left. So this is a single ring of stones with a fire in the middle. 4,500 years ago, they were using any of the wood that was in the forest here to make the roofs, and they were burning it as well for heat. Now you're thinking, how did man come up to Shetland 4,500 years ago? So he's coming up through Europe, coming up through the United Kingdom, and he's slowly coming up right to the top of Scotland, and once he gets to John O'Groats, he's going, hey, there's some islands over there, get the boat. They go with the boat and they come up to Orkney. So they then get to Orkney, go there for maybe 100 years, 200 years, and then go, wait a minute, there's more islands up there, get the boat, row up again, and they come to this lovely Shetland, beaches, both sides, flat land everywhere, thinking, wow, really cool. Going up to that quarry up there, that's a Stone Age quarry up there, taking the stone from there and building their first houses. So you can think, they're carrying all this. Their age, they're lucky if they made it to 40 years old before they were absolutely gone. Their diet, shellfish. You see the spoil heap at the back there? So they were eating shellfish, and if they could catch fish in the sea, they were very lucky. Maybe the odd seal was getting washed up, or a whale, they might have gotten that as well. They might even have gotten birds, but they've not found any bird bones in it. It's all shellfish and fish itself. So their existence very meagre. But then you come into this area here. This is Bronze Age, 3,500 years. So they've got a slightly different technique. Still the same circle, still with the fire in the middle, but thicker walls, much thicker walls. Now, was the climate slowly changing here that they needed to have a bit more insulation? They were still using the wood, so they were still chopping down trees, they were still burning wood. Their diet slightly changed. They still were using fish, shellfish, but they were the first people to bring in pigs and bear meal. So they were the first people to have bacon butties. Yep, and not only that, but they had a kiln as well, so they were actually making bread. They also had underground fridges, so they were storing food in underground fridges as well. Whether they were salting it or smoking it, we're not sure. Not only that, with this being the Bronze Age, we also found the shoulder bone of a Shetland pony here. So that's now putting the Shetland pony as 3,500 years old. And another exciting find was a brooch. Now, this brooch is of Celtic design. Not sure, very similar to the ones at St Ninian that was found in a little circle, but this was a closed clasp. So they had a cloak over them and it was pinned using this bronze pin. Now bronze, two metals are needed to make bronze. One, copper. We have a copper mine in Sandwich, and you need tin as the other metal to make bronze. Tin, have a guess where tin is found? Cornwall in England, right at the very bottom. So you have the extremes of tin in Cornwall, the bottom of the UK, and copper at the top of the UK in this islands. So you're getting this person that's got these metals together. Whether he's made it here, we don't know, or how he's gotten the copper or the tin from a source, but it's been dropped here, that particular Celtic brooch. So that's a really interesting find. Really, really spectacular. Any questions at all? Still got the circular design, still got the fire point in the middle, but we have no more trees, so they can't put a roof on this building at all. But they're using a different building technique. It's called corbelling. So that means that they start with a small stone at the bottom and they put bigger stones as they build up, and it slowly makes an arch. Not only makes an arch this way, but also makes an arch that way as well. So effectively you're making a wheel with spokes in it, and these spokes will slowly come into the centre. The fire is in the middle, but it's not circular. It's not. It's square as well. So as they're building in this, they're thinking to make this roof of stone. So that means that the stone cannot be washed away by storms. It cannot be burnt away by raiders. So the hole is in the middle for the fire, and being of square design, kind of pointing out maybe there was a lot of families sitting around the edges. Also, you have this little sections in the stones. So now they're segregating the people, whether it's granny and grandad there, auntie and uncle here, mother and father in here, children in there, they're not sure. Or maybe it's just, that's the bathroom, that's the bedroom, sitting room, kitchen. So up in speculation of what it's doing here. But it's very, very interesting how they're working it. The fire point also has another layer of stones out with it as well, with little flat stones. So now they're cooking Pacific foods to people in here and specifying whether they're wanting fish or whether they're wanting meat. And they're still making their bowls from the Kleberstein that they found in Conisborough. They still have their oil lamps as well, and you see the little square sections in the wall. That's for the family portrait picture. No, I'm only joking. That's where they put the oil lamp in there. And not only that, but they've now changed the doorway. It's starting to slowly slide over to the east. So now they're putting the doorway to east-west rather than north-south. So completely different system. So the sunlight is coming in rising in the east and then falling in the west, basically, not as north-south. So it's a very interesting design. This is what they call a wheelhouse, and this has not been reconstructed. This is all the archaeologists have taken the sand out of this buildings to expose what was here, and they've only put in metal rods and pins just to hold it together, and they monitor the movements. They come and check all the movements of the stones over a certain period as well. So none of this has been reconstructed. This is 1,500-year-old biggin, and it's still standing today.
No mortar. No mortar, just...
No mortar, no. All just dry stone.
Yeah.
Yep, all just dry stone.
One family who did.
Behind me is Viking Age. This is 1,200 years ago. They're coming here, they're immigrating from Norway, and they're coming here to make their houses. Now the system in Norway is that the father or the Jarl would then say to his son, go forth and multiply, basically. I don't want you in my land, go and find a new land and I'll maybe come and visit you. So he takes a Viking ship, 2 days sailing over to Shetland, comes to this lovely beaches, lands his Viking ship, looks at the flat land and says, I've made it, this is paradise. This is absolute paradise. Flat land everywhere. And he's not going up to the quarry to build his houses. He's using the round houses that were here before to make his long houses. So we're getting long houses, completely different design, no longer circular, but this long houses has the people living at one end and the castle at the other end. A slight slope on the floor, so all the affluent goes out in the middle. There's a recorded of 12 different generations just in this section alone. And if you go up to the island of Ons, which is the most northerly island of Shetland, there's more longhouses in Ons than there is in Scandinavia. So that makes Shetland very, very important. Now, when I was at school and was learning about history and the Vikings, I thought the Vikings were people that invaded lands, burnt down the churches, killed all the people, stole the silver, and then rowed back to wherever, took the ships and sailed. That's what the system was. But I went actually to Norway and lived and worked there for 11 years. I went into the library, started reading about Vikings and other things that I was generally interested, trying to find Shetland history, but stumbling across the Vikings, and then it just clicked. Oh, the Vikings. They're not what as the British were saying they were doing. The Vikings were completely different. They were communal people. They went into the land to find out what the people did. They could find out resources, they could grow crops, they could take in things, take out things. The Vikings took in flax, chickens and carrots into Shetland. Not only that, but they gathered up resources for people, and finding so much information in Norway about them. The Vikings travelled to Newfoundland in America. They also went to Istanbul in the east. It's quite surprising how far they got, and they could lift the ships out of the water. We've got drag-guides in Quarf and in North Maven that they can lift their boats out. They also did this in the continent as well. They could go up rivers, lift the boat out, cross a bit of land, plunk it into a lake, row across. Brilliant. They were experts at finding the best trees in forests. They could test the trees and say this one's for boat building, this one's for a house, and so on. They traded in silver. This was their monetary system. They knew the value of jewels and stones, so they could trade with that as well. Very clever people. And the intricate designs that they put on all their boats, all this mystical creatures, they believed in pagan gods, so they had belief of sun, moon, and all these as well. So these were slowly changing into Christianity, but that's another story. But they left their mark here on Shetland, very huge mark, and being a centre of the ways that they travelled. If you look on the map, you've got Norway, Shetland and America, and if they wanted to gather resources, they just collected their people in Shetland, went down to Orkney, got more people, and then went down to Scotland and fought against the English or the Scottish and so on. We've got Håkon Håkonsson coming here in 875, and he gathered in 200 Viking warships in Lerwick harbour to go and fight against the Scottish. What does that tell you, huh? So huge. So the importance of Vikings in Shetland, very, very big. And I hope that if you do get to Unst, there's a Viking ship up there and a reconstruction of a longhouse there as well, which is so nice to see. Really, really spectacular. There's something special about Sumbra and the airport, where the runway. It's quite a fascinating aspect for the UK. I've never been to Gibraltar yet, but I want to have a chance to drive over that runway. But
Any planes?
no planes come in. We're all clear, Stephen. Yeah.
Planes get away, the buses here.
Hello, we continue our tour. We're right now stopped at some cafes and shops and things, and I'm sure it's really grand and swell, but my head feels like it's going to explode. It hurts so much. After here, I believe we have a half an hour back to Lerwick, and then I'm gonna get the tender boat back to the cruise ship and then sleep and sleep and sleep because I am so tired. Alright, that's a bit of an update. Bye for now. Hello. It's been a number of hours since I got back on board the cruise ship this afternoon. I was able to get back on the cruise ship about 1:50. I immediately went back to the room and immediately went to bed. It's now about 6:30 and I pretty much have slept straight from 2 to 6:30, and now I'm just doing a couple things and then I'm going back to bed because I am not feeling well. Some interesting things that happened today. When I got sick on the bus, I was very impressed the bus driver was not mad or angry at me, and he did everything he could to help. He got me some wet wipes and some paper toweling, and he got a garbage bag to help clean up the mess. And he was so kind and nice and helpful. And throughout the rest of the tour, he kept asking if I was okay, if I needed anything, and he just continually checked in on me over and over again. I was amazed by his kindness. Then when I got back to the harbor to get back onto the tender to go back to the ship, there were so many people waiting in line. And I thought, oh Lord, I can't wait in line. There's no way. I'm so sick. I need to get back here. I need to lay down and rest. So I saw that there was a separate line for the retreat. The retreat is a special class on board the ship, and they get priority access to everything, including the tenders. So this special line had 0 people in it versus the other line, which just had so many people in it. I went up to the man and I was going to ask if I could get on the tender because I really was not feeling well. And I said, excuse me, sir, can, and that's all I said was, excuse me, sir, can. And he said, oh yeah, yes, come this way, come here, please, come, go on this line. So he let me go into the priority retreat line. I almost cried because I couldn't believe that I was going to be able to get on the tender boat without having to wait in a very long line. I got up to the front line of the retreat area. The guy looked at my pass card. He stopped the other line. He let me get on, and I was able to get on the tender. I was able to get one of the last seats on the tender. And then very shortly, the tender boat was full, and we went across the harbor to the cruise ship. If I would have had to stay in the other line, it probably would have been another 1 or 2 tender boats before I'd be able to get back onto the cruise ship. And I don't know. I was so sick. I cannot tell you how much I was thanking that man for his kindness and just praising God over and over again for all the kindness he has shown me today. My mom told me she went up to sail away, so here are some pictures from sail away. Now I'm going to go back to sleep because I am just not feeling very well. Hopefully tomorrow is a better day. Thank you so much for joining me. Please remember to like and subscribe down below. I hope you have a great day and a wonderful week. Bye-bye.